This book has drugs in it. I want to hug these books. I love them so much. Everyone on Instagram, when I was posting that I was reading this book, told me that I need to record my reaction to the end of this book. I'm shaking in my boots. Like, I am so scared. Like, why would you tell me to do that? Hi besties, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori if you're new. I'm so happy that you're here. We are starting a weekly reading vlog this week, and it is going to be very fantasy oriented. So I am continuing with some fantasy series I'm currently in the middle of. This is going to be spoiler free. Any thoughts that I share will be very, very general, not getting into spoilers for these books. Let's talk about the TBR for this week. Okay, so I have two books that I'm currently in the middle of, and then one we are going to start during this reading vlog. The first, I'm continuing with my read of The Witcher. I'm on Time of Contempt, which is the second book in the series, but it's the fourth book that I've read. I'm more than halfway through this book. I've actually been reading it more quickly than I thought I was going to, but I'm listening along with the audiobook as I do with these books. The narrator does such a great job with the characters and the dialogue, and if I tried to read this on my own, there's a lot of Elven language that I would be very unfamiliar with and would get lost in the sauce very quickly. So, Time of Contempt. The other book that I have already started, but I'm less than halfway through at this point, is Heir by Sarah J. Maas. I have been really excited for this book because so many people have told me this is one of their favorites in this series. I can already see why. There's a lot going on. We've met a lot of new characters in this book. We're in a new place. Things are happening. I met Rowan so far, and he is just a wild card. So, Heir this week. And then the last book that I'm going to start that I'm literally so excited for, it's the second book in the War of Lost Hearts series. The first book being Daughter of No Worlds. This is the second book, Children of Fallen Gods. And this cover, I can't with this cover. It is so good.
We love Tasana. She's such a queen.
It should be a good time. I'm very excited. I'm not gonna lie. Very fantasy oriented. I don't know what my brain is on recently, but we're on a fantasy kick. We're on like a high fantasy kick, and it's just been working for us. Hopefully you can hear me okay. There is a waterfall behind me, but I just came outside. We have this like common area in my apartment complex, and because the brain goblins have been goblining, I was like, I need to make an effort to spend more time outside and in the sunshine this week, because that always really, really helps me. So after taking JMO for his walk this morning, I was like, let me make my breakfast smoothie and we're gonna come and read outside. This has been really nice. Also, I mean, I had my headphones on when I was reading, but the waterfall behind us is really nice as well to like listen to. I've made it to 60% in Time of Contempt, and I wanted to give a little update with my overall thoughts. Again, no spoilers if you haven't read these books. At this point in the story, I'm given I'm only 2 books into the story, but I really like the dynamic that's going on between Geralt, the Witcher, Ciri, and Yennefer, and how like Yennefer kind of got tied into this whole debacle, but I really love it. I wish that there was a little bit more that we got to see with Ciri and Yennefer and like the training that's going on, because Yennefer is such a powerful sorceress, and in the Witcher TV show on Netflix, I really enjoyed seeing the bits when Yennefer was at Aretuza, which is like this witch magical training school. And I mean, we all love a magical school, am I right? but there's a lot of conflict that's going on. It's starting to get very political at this point in the story. There is kind of a setup for a war that's going on. There was like a large part of the chapter that I just finished where I did not know what was going on. Like, I was just vibing and reading, but it was like a lot of conflict, and it was really difficult to tell who was on which side and like what was happening, who was fighting against each other, all of that stuff, because basically there's like two sides to the war, but now they're trying to recruit other people into this war who are supposed to be like neutral, and for a second it was difficult to figure out like who is fighting on which side. Anyways, I think I'm gonna try at least for one more chapter. I'm someone who hates stopping in the middle of a chapter, but with this book where each chapter is like 50 plus pages, there's times when you have to kind of find like a break in the dialogue, a break in the paragraphs to stop, because I just don't always have 120 plus minutes to listen to a chapter. So that is my only complaint about this book. The writing, the characters, the dialogue, I think that everything is so incredible and so well done in these books. I'm going to quickly finish my smoothie. I have to head back upstairs because I'm going to log into work now, but I will check in a little bit later. I've read another chapter since my last check-in, but I only have about a little over 60 pages left. We're starting to get to some shorter chapters, which I'm like, whoa, 30-page chapters. Short, little shorties. What is going on? I mean, I love many things about Andrzej Sapkowski's writing, but one thing that I really love is the titles of his books are used as a theme throughout the book that's very relevant. It's kind of like surface level, and then there's so much detail under the surface of this theme slash title. A lot of times themes are very underspoken, right? They're like the undercurrent going through a book, but if you're someone who doesn't love to really dig in and analyze books and themes, you won't always know like where the theme is coming up and how it's coming up. I feel like Andrzej Sapkowski really makes themes approachable. It is very repetitious, but in a good way, this time of contempt theme. The other update that I have, it might just be my editions of these books, but there's no map. There also wasn't a map. I actually have a different edition of The Last Wish. But one thing that was really throwing me off, because this book in particular, actually to be fair, all of the books are extremely contextualized around the world. And there's a lot of different territories and cities within the Witcher world, but there's no maps. And as a visual person, that was very difficult for me. They travel around a lot, and we do also jump to different characters, which are in different places. It's not frequent that all of the characters that are relevant in the story are in the same place. So what I did was I looked up a map of the Witcher world. That was very, very, very helpful. And so I'm going to include the link down below if you are reading the Witcher books, if you want to read the Witcher books. I would highly recommend checking out that map if you're a visual person like I am. I've also been rewatching sprints that Mel did on her channel, so that's what I've been watching. These are not live. But when I'm in the reading mood and I just don't want to feel like I'm reading alone in my room, I really like to rewatch old sprints if I can't find someone who's live sprinting at the moment. And so Mel has been keeping me company. Good morning. I have some reading updates. So I finished Time of Contempt last night. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars because there's a lot of setup in this book and not much else. The ending of this book is where it started to get the most interesting for me, but where I do love Geralt, I like Ciri, and I love Yennefer. I was here for the characters and Dandelion because, like, come on. And Dandelion had some, I think, like one good scene where he was really the focal point in this, and I just love his POV so much. I think it did what it needed to do, and the writing is very solid. So that's that. I read up to 230 pages in Heir last night. Chapter 28. This book, has drugs in it. Like, I am obsessed with every character that's going on. Every POV that we're getting, I'm like, oh my gosh, tell me more. I'm loving this. I'm loving it so much. I love Abraxos. I was obsessed with that scene. No spoilers, but I love him, and I love Manon, question mark. Also, my TikTok and my Instagram feeds are just feeding me fan art from, I think, this book specifically, and I'm living. I just get nervy though because some fan art is like spoilery, but I'll pop up the one that I saw actually. It was from, oh, I forget her account. I think it's like What's Charlie Reading or something. I'll pop it up. It was so cute and it's not spoilery. It's just like really funny. So I will pop that up. I'm thinking about printing it out, honestly. Like, you know how some people print out cute little aesthetic pictures and they annotate their book with them? I'm just gonna pop it in at like a random place in the book so that like when I reread this, because I know that I will reread this series at some point, it'll be like a fun little moment for me, leaving myself little Easter eggs. So that might be happening. I need to do that today, honestly, or I'm gonna forget to do it. So yes, I wanna read like another at least 100 pages today. Like, I'm just so addicted to this book, and I just need to know what happens. I'm not here for like a slow pace, like analyzing every little word of this book. I just like need to know what happens at this point, you know what I mean? Hi besties, I will not lie to you, it has been quite a few days since I've updated this vlog. I basically just didn't film or vlog anything this past weekend because it was my birthday weekend, so I just like unplugged and spent time with my fiance, and it was really, really nice. But that being said, I have some exciting reading updates to share with y'all. So I finished Heir last night. I gave this 5 stars. I absolutely loved every second of reading this book. I loved all of the new characters that we met. I loved jumping around the world. Everyone was kind of in different places doing different things. I thought that was super fun. I feel like this book's plot really captured me and I was just obsessed the whole time. I love Aelin and Rowan. I love Abraxos and Manon. I also love Adian. So yeah, there are a lot of things that were happening in this book that I absolutely love. I think those are all the updates that I want to give because no spoils. But yes, this is 5 stars. As in true SJM fashion, like the last, I would say 150 pages, usually the last 100 pages is like stressful. The last 150 pages was just chef's kiss, absolute perfection. Love it so much. I really want to start Queen of Shadows pretty soon because I'm just addicted at this point. Then the other reading update, I'm just like, I want to hug these books. I love them so much. The other reading update that I have, I started Children of Fallen Gods by Carissa Broadbent. I'm 82 pages into Children of Fallen Gods. I'm absolutely stressed. I'm stressed, I'm loving it, but I'm very stressed. We picked up right where the first book left off, which I really love. Things are starting to get much more deep into conflict. We also got introduced to a new character in this book as well, similar to how we got introduced to Manon in this book. Like, it was kind of a character that we had never even heard of, met before, and she has her own chapter POVs. Her name is Aoife. And what's going on with her is like really juicy. Things are going on with our main characters that I'm stressed about. They get like separated, and I just feel like nothing good can come of characters when they get separated, and like a lot of other things are going on. So that's happening. Today I'm hoping to get another good chunk of this book read as well because she's chunky. She's 621 pages. And I would like to finish her in this vlog. videos. I wanted to do a little bit of an update. I haven't read too much more of Children of Fallen Gods. I'm currently on page 122, chapter 14, and I think the last time I checked in I was on page like 80. So I really haven't read that much more. However, I wanted to do an update because I've made some big realizations about like this book and also the War of Lost Hearts series that I just figured I would share because I think that it's helpful to know this going into it, and I wish that like I had known this going into it. Still loving it. I feel like that setup makes it seem like, oh my gosh, I have some tea about this. I don't. Like, I am still loving it. But what I think is helpful to know about this series is that this second book really expands upon the world. And so, my opinion, this book has far more world building in it than the first book did. And there are some series like that where the author kind of realizes that they want the world to be bigger than what they had initially first created in the first book. So that's fine. But I'm not gonna lie, I've been struggling a teensy tiny bit because Carissa Broadbent's world building style is to give a little bit at a time. And in the first book, it was perfect. It was like bite-sized chunks, it was very digestible, it was very smooth. This, it's kind of bothering me that she's doing it in that way because now the world has really, we've zoomed out. First book, we were here, we've now zoomed out and the world is like this. But I would almost prefer an info dump because for my brain, I'm like, just give me all the information at once. Give me something, give me anything, because I really don't like how it's unfolding right now. But that being said, like Carissa Broadbent doesn't make you wait a significant super long time for additional information. It's like chapter by chapter and I feel like the pacing is fine. I have started tabbing it because like I said, the world building has been a little bit difficult for my brain to understand. So I have started like annotating and tabbing it and I think that that's helping me. Hi besties, it's the next day and yesterday I read a good chunk, which I'm really happy about. I'm on page 248 now and I need to formally apologize for my tone in talking about this book yesterday. This is a book where it would be beneficial to, number one, read them close together. Like this is a series where there's a lot of details and there's a lot of little details that are really important to remember because if you don't, it's gonna impact your reading experience. And so where I read Daughter of No Worlds in January, I think I should have picked this one up sooner because it's been like 4 or 5-ish months since I've read that first book and there's no recap in this book. So when you start it, it's gonna jump right in. It's not gonna really recap any of the already established information from book 1, which is on me. That is totally on me, but it did impact my initial start of my reading experience. Yesterday, I spent some time going through and I kind of made an outline for this book. So this is the outline that I worked on yesterday. I think it's really cute. I like how it's coming along. I'm going to keep adding to it as I continue reading. Anyways, doing that really helped me reestablish the world, the characters, what's going on, all of that fun stuff. It seems so ominous. Like this book is very serious and it's been very serious this entire time. We really haven't had any lighthearted moments to break it up. I'm hoping that we get some soon because this book has been heavy plot, very little romance, and I'm hoping that as we get into like the middle portion of this book, we flip to some romance. I've heard that the third book in this series is pain. Like it's just pain. I also think that the end of this book is also going to be pain. And so I'm like emotionally preparing myself. Today is Tuesday. I'm really hoping to finish this book by Thursday because I have been reading in this reading vlog. It's been about a 2-week reading vlog. This is the second week and I'm only focused on this book right now. I'm not reading anything else. Like I said, I'll update soon. It's the next day. Yesterday I read a very decent portion of this book. I'm now at about the 60% mark. I don't want to give like a full update until I'm a little bit farther along, so I'm not gonna say too many thoughts. This had me in my feels. The last section that I read, there were so many really good quotes. Like, I finally got to the section of the book. I think I mentioned the first, we'll say half of this book is very, very plot oriented. I'm starting to get into more of the romance bits, which have been so stunning. So this is the quote. "Sometimes in moments like this, there's so much I wanted to say to Max that the prospect of forcing all of that emotion into mere syllables seemed laughable. I had spent my entire life being ripped from what I loved. My heart could never grow roots because every few years they would be hacked away. You learn to live without them. You learn to find love where it doesn't exist. Like in the superficial kindness of a cruel man, you learn to accept the loss as a part of you and pretend you don't mourn every severed connection. I had forgotten that it was possible for the roots of someone's affection to run so deep, so solid. I could build a life in the branches of this tree. I could cradle a generation's future nestled in its leaves. But I still had so many scars, and it's hard to dream when you're surrounded by the ashes of loss. Hard not to wonder if whatever scraps you have left over are even worth offering to someone who deserves so much. I squeezed my eyes shut. They prickled. I love you. I choked out. Love, the word was all I had. Still, it didn't feel like enough." All of the emotions. Good morning, besties. I am broken from the section that I read last night. When I tell you that from midway through chapter 59 to the end of it, my jaw was on the floor. I don't know why Carissa Broadbent hates us so much to do that to us in one chapter. And what's really messing with my brain at this point in time is that I still have like 200 pages to the end. I am distraught. I'm very distraught. I'm very upset. Those are my only updates. Everyone on Instagram, when I was posting that I was reading this book, told me that I need to record my reaction to the end of this book. I'm shaking in my boots. Like, I am so scared. Like, why would you tell me to do that? Because it's gonna be pain. I am depression already. I don't know if I can emotionally withstand what's gonna happen in the end of this book. It is now Thursday, and it is my goal to finish this book today. So I think I have like 180 pages left to go. Look how cute this little angel boy is. I just can't with him. This is all I have left. And I am so stinking scared right now. And everyone told me to film my reaction to the ending of this book. And I'm not emotionally prepared for what's going to happen. So here goes nothing. Okay, this book is 5 stars, but also, fuck this book.